Good morning, guys. I get this question a lot: what to do if you're afraid of CrossFit, or if the name CrossFit scares you. I understand that because it's depicted on the media as this elite gladiatorial fitness program, and it looks crazy. I understand it. So what I would say is the first thing you should do is movement selection. The movements and exercises you're trying to do should mimic things that you see in nature. So that's why a lot of my videos are about squatting and basic deadlifting and pull-ups, which are just the gateway to climbing. So these are all things that humans have been doing since humans existed, and they will never stop for as long as humans exist. And so I think everyone intuitively grasps this concept. Everyone knows that they should exercise, and moving is better than not moving. So movement selection is number one. The movements should be functional and should have analogs in nature. That's number one. Number two is the variance. And remember, you want to exercise to make yourself a better and more useful human. Some people enjoy it for its own sake, but truly, movement and exercise is a part of our DNA, and we were meant to do it. We live in a physical world, and therefore, lots of your development involves physicality. And to stray away from that, you can just take a look at the last 5 or 6 decades, and you'll see humans who don't move, and you actually become more injured and less happy and soft and gross. So make sure that you're doing it to make yourself better. And remember, in real life, things are different every day. So that's why you want to constantly vary the workouts that you do every day with those movements that are functional. So that's number two, is variance. You want to vary the movements, you want to vary the loads, you want to vary the reps. You might even want to vary the times of days you work out. And our case is made where it's good to get into a routine, and you want to choose a certain type of day to do it for the sake of habit and discipline. Yes, those are all good. Just remember that your training adaptation will mimic the training stimulus, or will adapt to the training stimulus. So you will only be good at those things which you are practicing. If you're practicing the same things at the same times, you will be good at those same things at those specific times, and you will be not good at different things at different times. So therefore, it behooves you to practice different things at different times, given that this movement selection and loads are of the highest value, i.e. Functional. So that's number two. Number three, finally, is the ramping up to what we call the intensity of the stimulus, where obviously you don't want to jump into it head first and with guns blazing on all cylinders. You want to come into this thing slow, especially if you're starting off as a not in shape beginner. And even if you're a pretty good athlete, to try to come into functional movements at varying degrees. You still want to take your time and learn the basics. This is the way you learn anything, not just exercising. But if you were to play the piano, or if you were to learn how to type or how to shoot, you would always start with the basics and then build from there. But never stopping to the reinforcing of the basics never stops. So that is what I would do if you are afraid of the name CrossFit, or if you're afraid of the fact that I teach CrossFit. Number one, choose movements that have analogs in nature and that are functional to you. Number two, vary the stimulus, given that the movement selection is good. So vary the movements, reps, vary the loads, vary the time of day. And then finally, number three is slowly ramp up to an intensity where it becomes rigorous and becomes hard. Number one is because the body responds well to intense exercise, and number two, when the shit hits the fan, when there's an emergency, or when there's an earthquake, or when there's a combat situation, or when there's an unexpected situation, it is how you will perform in the heat of battle or under stress and duress that defines your fitness, not when you are comfortable and ready. So those are my tips. Feel free to send me any questions. Thanks a lot.